Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very important and topical seminar that we are bringing to you under the auspices of the Azrieli Institute of Israel Studies. My name is Csaba Nikolényi. I'm a professor of political science, and we are actually greeting you from the beautiful seminar room of the Department of Political Science here at Concordia University. I also have the honor of serving as the director of the Azrieli Institute of Israel Studies. And those of you who joined us for our very important and exciting talk about Arab-Palestinian legislators in the Knesset on Monday, you already don't need introduction to our special guest, Professor Osnat Akirav, who is visiting us from Israel and who is here to deliver the second lecture of her visit. Today she will be speaking about the regional development policy in the Galilee region of Israel. Professor Akirav is a very well-known, very highly esteemed, accomplished and prolific researcher. Her expertise is in the politics of Israeli parliamentary history, but also in the contemporary context. She also lectures and writes extensively about local and party politics, both in Israel and comparatively. Professor Akirav lives, and she's also an active citizen in her municipality, Kfar Vradim, which is in the Galilee region. So no better person than she to tell us about the important issues that are facing this part of the country. So I would like to thank all of you who took time away from your busy schedules to be here with us in person. We have a very nice group of interested students, colleagues and staff. So, and of course, a special welcome also to those of you joining from different parts of the world on Zoom. Without further ado, I would like to yield the floor as well as the screen to Professor Akirav.
Thank you for coming. I will speak a little bit about the Galilee Research Institute and then about government policy, about the Galilee. I will say Galilee, and most of the time I refer to the North District of Israel, but the Galilee is just part of it. But I will switch, for me it's the same, okay? So when we say the Galilee Research Institute, it's basically about the northern district of Israel. I'm the head of the Galilee Research Institute, and it was established in 2019. And the main goal is to strengthen and promote the Galilee region, to show the government data, comparative data about the Galilee, the north region of Israel, and other regions of Israel with many indicators. We have several reports. The one is the Galilee indicator, the second is the municipality indicator, and we compare many information, for example, the number of doctors, the employment rate. I will show you in a few slides the relevant data. And we hand these reports to the government, to mayors, to NGOs, organizations, just to say how to present the gaps we have, the Galilee, the periphery of Israel, specifically Galilee compared to the other municipality. And here it's me in the Knesset, when they held a very big and important conference about the periphery of Israel, and they asked us as the Galilee Research Institute to present the data we have, and they were amazed by the data, which are all their data. We just organize it in an easy way to present the gap. That's it. It's the information from the ministry and other formal places to gain information. So just a few information about the northern district of Israel, because I know that some of you have been in Israel and some of you haven't been there yet. Okay? So this is the map of Israel, as you can see. The red is the northern district, and as you can see is a large part of Israel. The Golan Heights, Kiryat Shmona over there, the Western Galilee, and the Lower Galilee, and the Sea of Galilee. So it's a huge part of Israel, and within the northern district, you can see that there are sub-districts, Akko, Israel, Kinneret, the Golan Heights, and Tzfat. So there are so many differences within one region. And this is where I live. okay, over there. So it's not far away from the border. And as I said before, from my home, we can see the border very clearly. So just a few information about the Galilee. It's the second largest district in Israel. And regarding the population, you can see that 53%, almost 54% are non-Jewish. It's the only district in Israel that the majority are non-Jewish. You can see that we have 42 Jewish and others which do not recognize themselves in some religion affiliation. Within the Arab, you can see that in the Galilee we have Muslims, Druze, and we have Christians. And as you can see, the vast majority are Muslims, then Druze, and then Christians. So the Galilee is multicultural region, and it's a periphery. So it's very important to know just the facts. So the next few slides, just a few slides from our indicators. And as you will see, some of the data are not updated. And if you will ask me why, the simple question is that the government or doesn't have it or information with us, even though we asked them several times, please give us the information, and it's not transparent. So it's not that we were lazy to collect updated information, they didn't want to share with them. So one is about the average life expectancy by district, and the red is the north. So 81 or 82 years old is the average life expectancy in the north region of Israel. You can see that if you live in the center, not in Tel Aviv, in the center you live a lot more, and then Tel Aviv and Jerusalem are the same, Haifa a little bit less. By the way, Haifa is with the Krayot, Kiryat Chaim, Kiryat Motzkin, and Hedera. So this is the way the government decided to organize the country. So we took their division and we just used their data. We didn't invent anything new, just using their data. You can see that in the south is a little bit less than us, and in Judah and Samaria, we are living almost the same as the center. So first information, we live less. By the way, female live more. Yep. Just for you to know, but I didn't have this slide. The next indicator we use is the employment rate, and this is much more updated compared to previous one, 2022. And as you can see, just 56% are employed. We have, as you remember, the vast majority are non-Jewish, and within the non-Jewish community, there are women that are not, that their unemployment rate is higher. So this is why those numbers. And then you can see Jerusalem. And the fact that Jerusalem is lower than us is because of the ultra-Orthodox, which some of them doesn't work. 50% of the men work, and 50% doesn't work. By the way, the Jewish ultra-Orthodox women in the last 20 years, their employment rate increased to 80%, 80, which is an amazing data. This allows the men not to work, okay? But just, some information. So employment rate, and we all know that if we don't work, and if we have a problem with education and other problems, it's not nice to live in the periphery. We don't want to. The young people will not come to periphery, or if they were born in the periphery, they are not going to stay in the periphery. So another indicator is the rate of doctors per 1,000 people. And if we have a doctor in the audience, she can appreciate the fact that there is a poor number. Hi. 2.2 doctors per 1,000 people. Imagine how many patients you need to see in order to serve the northern region. Of course, if you live in Tel Aviv, you are in good shape. 5.4 doctors per 1,000 people. And you can see the other region. So one can ask me, how come you missed the Yehuda and Samaria? The data are not available. We use just data that were available. The last indicator, we have a lot of them, just the last I'm going to present you, is, Stefan, it's for you, the percentage of those eligible of mathematics. A matriculation in mathematics, 5 units, which is the highest unit, right? You say here, units, this is how you, so it's the highest. And when you have 5 units of mathematics, you can go to study engineering, medical school, PhD in mathematics and computer science, okay? So you have an opportunity for better life in higher education. So this is important to have the option for 5 units in mathematics. Again, 2016. Just 10% in the north, 11 in Haifa. Look at Tel Aviv at the center. South is competing us, it's less, and Jerusalem is better than us. I didn't brought the slide with the 4 units. The 4 units, you can see that in the North District, there is much more than 5 units. Like the government told our kids, you know what? Don't go to 5 units. Oh, why? We don't have enough teachers for you. Go to 5 units. It's like they are paving our way to lower education in mathematics because we don't have enough good teachers to convince to come to the Galilee. So go to 5 units, okay? So the data are generally, I hope that they convince you, but there is, again, much more data, that the northern periphery of Israel is underprivileged in so many indicators, okay? Believe me, and you can read, you can enter our website and you can see. The question is, what does the government do in order to develop the peripheries, the south and the north? What is its policy? So now I want to present you 3 government decisions about, most of them about the Galilee. The first one is with, at the time of Olmert government in 2008, resolution number 3960, declaration of the periphery as a national priority area, meaning much more money to those who will come to live in the periphery or industry that relocate their factories to the periphery, and periphery meaning south and north. It was very important resolution which the south region enjoyed. They established military camp, big one, but the south didn't enjoy it at all. No one came because of this resolution. Less people came than they were expected. And then Netanyahu government in 2017 declared a very important government resolution, economic development of the northern region, 5 years program, million and billion, a lot of money, supposed to be invested in the Galilee, including increasing the crime in Arab villages. Reducing, I say increasing, reducing. Reducing. For example, they established 11 police stations within the Arab villages. They recruited, thanks to this specific government decision, they recruited 500 Muslims, police officers, female and male, but Muslims, to this police station in order to convince the Arab population that the police is in favor of you, helping you fight crime and not against you. This was the part that was okay and succeeded in this plan, but all the other goals of this plan was not accomplished at all, and the state controller's report said that most of the aim of this amazing, by the way, decision, a government decision, were not accomplished. So it was a very hard report. You invested so many money, but there were so many problems between the differences of ministry, by bureaucracy, and politics, and the little men and women in the region did not enjoy, at the end, did not enjoy it. Okay? And then, the last one is during Bennett Lapid government, just recently, resolution number 864. They didn't improve this one or took the comments of this report and improve the decision. They just switched to the Golan Heights. And the decision was about a plan to encourage demographic growth in the Golan Heights. Like, come on, live in the Golan Heights. It's a beautiful place, and we are going to give you employment opportunity, housing, great education, just come. But again, this government lasted a year, and you know, when there is a new government and a different new government, all the previous resolution like deleted and nothing actually happened. So we still at the Galilee waiting for some lunatic that will say, like, you know, Ben Gurion, when he went to the Negev and lived there during his the end of his year, some lunatic that will say the Galilee is the most important place. I want to invest all the money in infrastructure so people will come and live here and will say that it's an amazing place, which is an amazing place, but you know, I'm biased. So, regionalism is a phrase which it's a policy approach that seeks to increase the political power, influence, and self-determination of people in a specific sub-region. It's not about Israel. It's about the entire world. I'm sure that you have in Canada similar structure about the relation between the local government, something in the middle, and the central government, okay? So in Israel, it's not so much because we have central government and local government, and that's it. But in Israel, there is regional clusters. I'm practicing this word, are currently the central platform of the Ministry of Interior for the development of regionalism. It's something new. And as Chaba noted, I was the local representative, and in a minute I will tell you how does it refer to this specific issue. Okay, so the first cluster was established in 2009, and it was the Western Galilee cluster. At that time, I was a member at Kfar Vadim Council, and I voted yes. Some of the people said that, no, it's not good for us. But I thought that it will create important infrastructure for many municipalities going together. It was the first one, it was experimental, and it was very good experiment. And the first one encouraged more and more, and for now there are 12 regional clusters in Israel, which consists of 66% of the local localities, which is important. By the way, there is the Judah and Samaria one, and here over here another one. So if you will add 2, you will have 12. Okay. So for those who doesn't read Hebrew, it's the Western Galilee and the Bay and the East Galilee and and the South, and so it's a process. It's a new vision how to organize the local government compared to the central government. But, and this is the most important point to understand the vision of the clusters. They are based on a voluntary association. municipality needs to say, I do. And when I do, I would like to invest money and to agree to the decision of the cluster, even though sometimes I don't like it. But I look at the greater good of the entire region which the cluster covers. And as you remember, the Galilee has more Arab than Jewish. So clusters are mixed with Jewish municipality, Arab municipality. Within the Arab municipality, there are just Druze, just Christian, and there are mixed villages with Druze Muslims and Christians. Sometimes the Druze are majority, sometimes they are minority. So a lot of problems, or not problems, challenges, okay? So you need to volunteer, say, yes, I do, I'm willing to be part of this story. And it's not simple at all. So the research I did with a colleague of mine, we looked at the regional development policy in the Galilee Periphery in Israel, and we asked the following question. There were, in the AU, 2 different programs, which I'm going to present in the next slide. And we wonder, how can the regional cluster project in Israel draw insights from the experience of the EU? And, they have some similarities and some differences. How can we learn from them? And perhaps we can encourage them, or we can inspire them to do something different, because we are young in this point of view. So in order to analyze, to answer the research question, we went to interview 5 clusters in the Galilee, the entire cluster at the Galilee at that time. Most of them the CEO were women, by the way, which was interesting from another point of my research. So we conducted semi-constructor interview, and then, in addition, we analyzed official documents to see the point of view of the government, sometimes from the newspaper, sometimes from NGOs that analyze the relationship, the partnership of this new initiative, and the point of view of the CEOs, that they can be the best people to say the story. So it's not a combination of qualitative and quantitative research methods, as I presented in Monday. It's a qualitative research method, just content analysis. Okay, so I'm telling a story, it's a narrative. So I talked about the models of the EU. There are 2 main models in Europe. The way they organize the local government and the connection with the central government. So Obacht is urban project-based, and the leader is rural area-based. Here are the most important indicators or characteristics of both of them. And I will expand a little bit more in the next slides. Bottom-up, local partnership, multi-sectoral strategy, networking, and cooperation. And if we will just leave the political arena, this is basic for organization. For any organization, if you are NGO or if you are from the private sector, you need all these characteristics to work if you want to advance your vision and to implement your goals. So just a few words about some of them. The bottom-up approach believes that local communities are the best suited to identify their own development needs. For example, just example from the Galilee, and again, Galilee is all the northern area. The Galilee is multi-ethnic society. So we need to go to the residents of the region, ask them what do they want. And if there are some cities that are mixed cities within the Arab society, there are so many differences. For example, if the majority are Druze, and the Druze serve in the army, and they come back during weekends, it's okay. But if they are minority in a specific village, it's hard for them to come with uniform to the weekends. The atmosphere in the specific village is different if they are majority or minority. Similarly, by the ultra-Orthodox, those who enlist to the army, and they can, during the weekend, they are coming to Shabbat with the uniforms. Some of the ultra-Orthodox community welcoming them, and some doesn't like it. Prefer them to switch and keep the uniform in their bags and come with regular clothes. So it's an interesting anecdote to understand. Another point of the bottom-up approach is that it enables local communities to shape development policies that align with the unique needs. For example, the olive oil industry in the Galilee. Originally, the olive oil in the Galilee is just, it was about the Arabs. They did it, but they did it in a very old fashion. In 2010, a Jewish company was established and create olive oil, more quality of the olive oil, like the European quality level. So then the Arab that used to do it in a very basic level competed the very high quality of the olive oil of the Galilee. So now they try to improve themselves. And it was kind of a competition about the very essential industry that their ancestors did before, and they did the same way until now, the olive oil. So if you will go now to the Galilee and you will look for olive oil, you can see some old factories, Arab old factories, and some boutique olive oil of Jewish communities, which is very nice to see the way they are going back to the biblical age to show how our Jewish ancestors produced oil many thousand years ago. So if you want to do something with it within the region, the Galilee region, you need to understand what the Arab needs regarding the olive oil industry, what the Jewish one, and so on. So this is the bottom-up point of view characteristics. And ensuring the involvement of local actors in a transparent manner. So we will know, we will share, we will compete, but we can help each other, including a civil and social interest group. Partnership, all the time partnership, and not hiding from each other. This is one of the important part of it. Local partnership and multi-sectoral sectoral strategy, concentrating in local residents being the forefront of their area development. And now I'm going to show you two pictures of very important women which Chaba and Corey met in your visit.
That's right.
In Israel. Safta Jamila.
Yeah.
And Yael met her as well. And if you will come to Israel, I will take you to meet her. She's 85 years old, Druze woman, entrepreneur, okay? When she was very young, in her second grade, her mother took her from school, and she helped her mother to collect herbs and to create something with them to help support the family. And when she got married, she tried to develop something new, like mini industry of soap from the special herbs of the Galilee area. In 2006, she was chosen to light the torch in the Independence Day. Here she is, reading her story. It was a very emotional moment, I have to say. I meet her many times, and every time, for me, she is an amazing woman, which fought against the religious leaders of the Druze community. She's a religious Druze woman, and they didn't like the fact that she's approaching people and working outside or whatever. So sometimes they gave her hard times. She didn't give up. She didn't give up. And in her factory, which part of the factory is in Pkiim, her village, and part of it is in nearby Kfar Vadim, she employs just women, Druze, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish. She has a factory in the Netherlands. There, she employed just handicapped people, and she received a prize from the king in the Netherlands. There was a queen and then a king, being so important in the employment rate for those handicapped. And she won many prizes. It's not a promotion for her, just an example of the local partnership and the way you can take this example and to use it to encourage women to create their own craft, and of course many other people, if you want to encourage them to do something important. So the Israeli context is very intense regarding the local government and the central government, not about the other politics we have. So Israel unitary state structure is characterized by highly centralized public services, meaning the government decided what the local government will do, like parents telling the kids what they should do and leaving no option to the kids to say, no, but I think that it's better to do it in another way. No, the government are very not cooperative parents, if I may say. And this is some data from the OECD. It's the authority percentage of local municipality. You see that Greece is not doing that well, but in Israel, it's 40% of the authority percentages compared to the average of the OECD. It's hard to operate as local government compared to the central government in Israel, which in Europe it's different. There are more autonomy and option to work independently compared to the central government. So when we analyze the interviews and we analyze all the other documents we have, we find three main themes. You know, when you analyze content, you find themes. We find more, but there are the three main themes. The first one, the role of the central government, shocking, okay? The second one is building trust between the cluster members. The trust is very important. And the third one is the importance of partnership. Now I will just say a little bit for each one of them to present the main narrative that emerged from the interviews and from the paper. So the main argument was that the regional cluster, this initiative signified a shift, a very important shift in power in the power dynamic between the central and the local government. And as you remember, it was bottom up. It was initiating from the citizens, the residents of the Galilee, telling the government, the central government, you don't know us. You don't know what we need. Please, let us go. Let us work with our people and decide what is better for us. And it creates a first step, the first important step for changing the dynamic. So they told about it a lot. And here you can see that there were specific conference every year of the cluster, meaning the general manager of the Ministry of Interior believed that this is an important part of the development of regional. And this is a quote. It's a significant tool for promoting the capability of local authorities and improving the quality of resident life. It's amazing. Again, imagine that the parents don't let their kids go, and step by step, the kids convince them that we are responsible, we can do it, and step by step, the parents say, I can give him the key card. They are not going to ruin the car. I trust him or her. And then they establish a special Shiri Rabinovich is the director of Senior Division of Regional Development. It's a new division in the ministry, declaring that it's important for us to help the cluster to develop. And every year there is a conference specifically for this issue. So since the establishment of the first one in 2009, the central government had baby steps, step by step, supported the regionalism concept, which is great. And they told us during the interviews and when we analyzed the documents. So the second one is building trust between the cluster member. So you need to understand that. The CEO are professionals, but the head of the municipality are a politician. And if the CEO doing well, the politician afraid that the CEO would like to replace them. And the CEO always said to the mayor, we don't want to replace you, we want to help you to serve your resident in a better way. But you don't trust, because you're a politician. You shouldn't trust anyone else. Anyway, this is a survey by the Israel Democracy Institute from November 2023, just 3 questions. Who is more attentive to citizens? Who works more efficiently and professionally? And who do you trust more? And as you can see, the blue is the government, the orange is the central government, is the local, and the 53% trust the local government. And you see, and definitely it's in November after October 7. The local government did a lot of work, and the central government were out of the game. Like, it's not our issue to deal with the current situation. And who work more effectively, and who is more attentive to the citizen. It's a very important information to understand that the central government need to let go the locality and let them work, do their job, and to help the citizen. Okay, I'm just talking about that. So trust need to be established across diverse groups. So local authority and between NGOs. Among elected and appointed officials, always struggling between each other, and between municipality and central government. And when we interviewed them, they say that some of the ministry are very cooperative. And the other are like, who are you? I don't trust you. It's a ministry of agriculture. They approach the Ministry of Agriculture, let's help us with the olive oil industry. And the agricultural ministry didn't trust the cluster CEO, because who appointed you? Who are you? We don't used to work this way. Whereas in the educational ministry, they were more cooperative compared to others. So it's not that all the government were nice to the cluster initiation. It was a process. It's still a process. It's still a process. And the last one is about the importance of partnership, and some of the documents of the Ministry of Interior saying that it's important to build a partnership, and let's work and do something to establish a partnership in this regard. So, some concluding remarks. When we compare the LEADER and the Orbach program, there are huge and critical differences between Israel and Europe. Shocking, the role of the state. The central government is very important. For example, housing. Because the government controls the land, 92 or 3% of the land is the property of the Israeli government. It's not a private land. So we need to pay something in order to have a place to live. But the government decides how much we should pay. It's not a free market. So it's important us to understand that how the central government is very centralized. But let's have a hope. We have to have hope. So the clusters can be the first step, and they are the first step to change this dynamic. Now let's talk about the last half year in Israel. This is a picture my son took when they exit Gaza. So I don't need זכויות יוצרים, okay? The annual report of 2022 of the senior division, remember her? She noted that since October 7th, the regional cluster played an important role to assist local government authorities. So imagine that some of the people, over than 100,000, evacuated still from their houses. So who's supposed to take care of them? Their original municipalities or the municipalities that they moved to? What about the kids' education? What about the teenagers? What about their employment? So many questions. Who in charge? So the the head of the division said that the regional cluster helped a lot to the citizens. And here, just for us to close the picture about the Galilee, we are all talking about Gaza and the south of Israel. But the Galilee, there is both the 28 localities that are evacuated from the border. They're still they're still away from their homes. Some of them going to stay in Ra'anana, Kfar Saba, because their kids are already registered to the next year to study there. And they saw that it's nice to be there. And why should we go back to the Galilee? So instead of encouraging people to come to the Galilee, and originally we have less people there, after the war, during the war, people are just living, and who are they? Young, educated people that prefer to leave the periphery in order to keep their kids, to let the kids live better lives. So just, it's a picture just to show you, this is 2 kilometers, so many localities are evacuated until now, and the government has no answer to tell them when you are going to be back home. So that's it for now. Again, Tom Hanks, thank you.
Osnat, thank you so much for another stellar and animated, very important and topical presentation. And I specifically would like to thank you for bringing it up today. Let me look around to see if there are any questions from the floor. And Corey, if you can help me just, because I don't see, the screen is a bit far away from me to see if there are any questions in the Zoom. Before I would recognize the first question from the floor, I'm going to abuse my role as moderator. And another question. Yeah. I would like to ask you 2 questions, Osnat. The first one has to do with the last quote that you put up with respect to the government's recognition that these regional clusters have been playing a very important role in the war effort and are responding to, not the war effort so much directly, but responding to the citizens' needs who are evacuated. And if that is the case, do you think this might actually lead to the government incentivizing those municipalities that haven't yet linked up, that haven't yet joined voluntarily these regional clusters to do so? Because moving forward, this may very well be an important part of Pikud Oref, if you will, to the home front defense preparation.
Yeah, I think that it will be important for the central government to do it, but you remember, the local authority need to volunteer. Yeah. It's not mandatory to be part of it. They need to say, I do, and they need to understand what is the meaning of I do. How effort do they need to invest, and how cooperative they are going to be. So the government can say, yes, go ahead, I will help you to be part of it. But if the municipalities say, no, I have so many problems, I don't want to be part of more people. It's like family. I prefer to be alone. I don't want to see the extended family. I prefer to be alone.
So you don't see the government incentivizing the I do to give more resources, to help those municipalities recognize that maybe there are financial but not just benefits, or that's not happening yet, I guess.
Okay. The problem with the government, we say something general, government, but at the end there are people with ambitions, with ambitions, and with visions and with desires to promote or to delay. So at the end is to see who are the people in this specific ministry and who are the people in the localities looking for joining the cluster, and try to see how to connect with both of them. But definitely I believe that the Israeli municipality will gain a lot if the entire country will be under clusters.
Have we seen the minister in charge of the portfolio actually lending support for this?
At the beginning, no. Okay, at the beginning, no. Again, it's what bottom up. I was there from the first day. No one believed that, it's ridiculous. No, we are not going to work together because we have something that we want to do, but it's against Ma'alot. Oh, she went. Against Ma'alot and other municipalities around us. But then, step by step, you can see that the minister fell in love with this concept because it was a success. And if I'm a politician, I want to engage to be part of a success. But it's not because it was his original vision. Yeah, right.
Last question from me, I promise. Yeah. You're a professor at the Western Galilee College.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the role of the college in shaping the life of the cluster, not just Akko, but does it play any role in helping through education, through special programs, through perhaps incentivizing students from different parts of the cluster to come to? I mean, I don't want to give ideas. I don't even know whether this is happening, but are people looking to the college as an institution that can play leadership in the region?
Yeah, I think that the college, which we have 50% Jewish and 50% non-Jewish. Within the non-Jewish is Muslim, Christians, and Druze, and it's a multicultural college where people can come, study, and go back to their villages all around the Galilee, the northern region. And we have an option for the first degree and second degree, bachelor and undergraduate. And it's a great opportunity for women and men to gain higher education and then get better jobs, improve their lives. So we are definitely accelerator in the Galilee, and we cooperate with all the clusters of the northern region. So yes, and we have a lot of conferences with the cluster and with the municipalities. Yes, we definitely are.
Thank you. So let me take the two questions from Yael, Jennifer, and Hector.
So I guess in your early slide, you talked about the employment rate throughout Israel and the different regions. And I was just wondering, is that sort of the number employed, is that of the whole adult population up to a certain age? Or is so it's not just the people looking for work?
No.
It seems like a high unemployment.
By the law, people that can work by law is from 15 until 65. But you are a teenager. You're not supposed to work. You can work partial work, and then some of us going to the army. Anyway, but these are the ends.
The ends from 15 to 65.
Right.
Okay.
And this is how the Central Bureau of Statistics counts the employment rate. So if you are disabled to work, you are excluded from the numbers. Just the people that can work, this is why I said 50% of the ultra-Orthodox men doesn't work. They can work. They prefer to do something else. The women are 80%. The ultra-Orthodox women are 80%. So if you are at the age of working and you are okay to work physically, or even you can't see, but you can work, this is how they count the employment rate.
So people who work after age 65 are not included in that employment group?
There is another data for the people after, but not in this data.
Thanks. I have a second small question. So in these regional clusters where certain villages have come together, what is their method for resolving disputes when they have disputes?
It's a great question. Discussion, debating, convincing, bringing facts, trying to compromise. This is why you need to volunteer, to say, I do. Like in marriage, you are compromising all the time, right?
Do you?
No, we are not. But so you cannot force someone. You can convince him. And you know that sometimes you can convince someone to do something that you are willing to have. And in the next time, you will be willing to compromise in order to help someone to do something he likes to do. So it's debate, facts, compromising, coalition, creation, and it's amazing because it forces you to be more inclusive, to listen more. So for me, it's an amazing experiment in politics, combining between the official professionals and the politicians.
Thank you, Jennifer.
With all the data that you receive, first of all, I noticed the math was also low in the South, so it's not just a normal issue.
Yeah.
But with all the data that you collect, are you allowed to give recommendations, such as, here's a program to have more doctors as they complete, go to the north to get some experience? Like, is there ways that, and do you give the government ideas on what to ask in terms of getting more research?
Yeah. We have several conferences presenting the data, and to the conferences we invite ministers and CEOs from ministries and NGOs and a lot of different type of position in order to present our recommendation. At the end of the reports, there are recommendations. What should the government do? For example, airports. Of course. And all the professionals said that the North should have international airports. And it's supposed to be in the last government, the previous government. And then the Minister of Transportation decided no, because people at the area of the government, of the airport, convinced her not to do it because they were her voters of her party. And but the professionals say that this is the place. So we have a lot of recommendation, and we try to echo this recommendation everywhere. And sometimes we listen to ministers saying our recommendation, and sometimes in the newspaper you can see it, but it's a never-ending work to convince that the Israeli government must invest in the periphery, not just the northern periphery, the south periphery, because we cannot be just in the middle of the country. We have so many places in the periphery on the south and the north that should have more people there.
Since Ben Gurion, this is
Ben Gurion and
thank you, Hector.
I wasn't there on Monday. So was there any information passed on as to the main language used at home and the language used in the meetings or in the workplace?
No, on Monday, no. But you're talking about the Arab and the Jewish, for example, at the Western Galilee College?
Well, either at the college, what's the languages that are used for education, and in the community grassroots and in municipal, what are the languages that are prioritized, even though there might not be an official language?
Well, you can see amazing differences because there are some young Arab citizens that they were never left their villages before the college. So they have poor Hebrew. And Hebrew is their third language because Arabic is spoken and literature too. And then Hebrew, and then we ask them English too. Because it's, academia, you have to fall. So it's very challenging for them, specifically when it was the first time for them to participate in discussion with people that speak fluently Hebrew. We teach in Hebrew. We have some courses in English, by the way. You can join the international courses we have, but not in Arabic. There is a college, Arabic college, which is not our college, which they teaching there in Arabic. but not us. So they need to have a better Hebrew ability to speak, to write, to analyze within 3 years. Now, some of them engage a lot of time before with Jewish. So you can see that they speak better Hebrew. For example, the Druze. And definitely those who serve in the army. When they come to study in the college, their Hebrew is fluent. Yeah.
Is there a trend for changes in variables of teaching, of the teaching language? For example, is the Hebrew language growing for education, or is the Arabic language like stagnating or being stabilized? Are there any fluctuations in the preferred choice of teaching the language that is being used?
In higher education, it's in Hebrew or in English, all around Israel, and unless it's an Arabic college, which there are several ones, okay? In elementary school, high school, in the Arab municipality, it's in Arabic. But they need to take matriculation in Bible, Tanakh. It's mandatory. In order to gain the final matriculation, they have to examine the Tanakh. We don't have to examine the Quran, the New Testimony, we the Jewish. But they have to, in order to gain the final, to finish high school. So they study Hebrew, but they don't practice it. So it's hard. It's hard. Now, if you are asking me, I think that since the second grade, the Jewish and the Arab need to learn the opposite language and to speak it all the time. Because we are a multicultural society. It's not just the language, it's the culture of it. There's so many phrases with the history of the phrases. So I would like my kids to know and to speak Arabic, and our friends in the villages nearby to speak Hebrew. But it can't be that we speak Hebrew and we don't know Arabic. It's not okay from my point of view.
Can you bring that feeling here in Quebec too?
Oh, we have so many problems. Please,
one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So let me take another look around. I think this is it. I'm going to bring this fascinating, very insightful discussion and presentation to its closure. So Osnat, I would like to thank you on behalf of all of our students, staff, and faculty, and the entire Israel Studies community here at Concordia for flying all the way from Israel, being with us, lending us so much of your time and expertise, and bringing this fascinating knowledge that otherwise we wouldn't have and wouldn't be able to avail of. So thank you, and we wish you good luck in making Israel, the Galilee, the Knesset, and your community even more prosperous, and of course our support as Israel is facing its ongoing wartime existential threat. We are lending support and we are cheering from far away. So thank you again, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us.